I'm going to show you how you can go from this to this using drugstore makeup products. Carry on watching to see how you can also achieve this look. Hey loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are good. You guys are all doing very well. You guys said you want me to do a full face of drugstore makeup products, so here it is. From A to Z, everything that I show in this video is going to be drugstore. I'm going to even take it a step further and say everything's going to be £15 or less. If you are in the UK, you can walk into either Superdrug or Boots and you can get these products. However, if you're someone that prefers to do shopping online, links to everything that I share will be in the description bar below, so you can also check that out. So make sure you click show more for a list of everything. But yeah, carry on watching to see how you can also achieve this look. So the primer which I'm using today is by Revolution. This is a staple. I started using this sometime last year when my Fenty Beauty mattifying one had run out and I didn't want to wait for delivery, so I popped to my local. Picked this out, I was like, let me try it out and see what it does, and to be honest, I really like it. If you're wondering, my skin type is extremely oily. Well, I prefer to start off with a matte base, and as the day goes by, my face will end up being a bit more dewy. So once I finish with my primer, the next step for me, brows. For brow gel, never used this before. This is also by Makeup Revolution. So I'm going to use that to help hold my head in place. I have very skinny brows. When I was younger, I didn't, but I was someone that I guess over threaded, over plucked, and after a while they didn't grow back as thick as they used to. So next step for my brows is I use an eyebrow pencil. The eyebrow pencil which I'm using today is by MUA Cosmetics. I'll come up close so that you guys can see what I'm doing, but yeah, I definitely can't talk while doing this, otherwise my brows are just gonna look crazy. I start off by basically doing the line across like this, and then I do upwards strokes, and I try to be light-handed with this, and then with the tail I then draw it on like this. The end has a spoolie brush. I use that to just comb the hairs like so, and then like this. Very simple and easy to do. That took me like a minute if that. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other side as well. So the next thing that I do is reach out for a concealer to clean up my brows so that they're a bit more precise. And this is by Rimmel and it's in the shade Chestnut. So using Chestnut to carve or to clean the brows, and so I just do the same thing for the other brow. So once that's done, I also add some concealer on the top part of my brow because I still want my brows to be somewhat defined, especially the tail. Dude, it's like 3/4. So then I'm just using a brush to blend out the concealer like so. So next step in my routine is foundation. The one that I picked up is by Milani. I've never used this before. Milani Concealer and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. I've got the shade Chestnut today and hopefully this is the right shade. To be honest, when it comes to foundation, don't be scared of going a shade darker. It's better to get a foundation which is darker than lighter. It will always lighten up once you know, highlight and do all the extra stuff that we tend to do. Okay, I actually slapped on a bit too much if I'm honest. Oh, this dries on fast. I can feel this drying already. Why did I put on so much? I don't know. Full gun blazing with so much foundation. You don't need to do what I just did right now. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if this is my shade or not. Let me do half of my face actually. It's probably the best thing to do. But yeah, when you're applying your foundation, you want to make sure you're careful with your brows because it's so easy to rub your brows off if you're not careful, you're heavy-handed and you're just like rushing. If you're scared because of your lace, then put the excess of the brush, rub that onto your forehead. But yeah, I don't know why people are not putting foundation on their forehead or any makeup. But yeah guys, look, this is the excess of foundation because I used a bit too much. I don't know what was wrong with me, I was just getting too excited. In terms of brushes, if you're looking for affordable brushes, I'll leave some links below. So next is to conceal. I like to use two concealers. One that's like my skin tone or close to my skin tone, and then one that's lighter just to brighten it up a bit. The ones that I'm going to use today, one is by e.l.f. and the other one is by Revolution. I've never used any of these two before, so this will be interesting. So this first one is an illuminating under eye concealer, and this is in the shade Deep Tan. It's enriched with vitamin C apparently. Okay, so starting off with this under eye. Oh, this is actually much lighter than I thought. I would have preferred to start off with something more my color. So I'm going to also use that to highlight the rest of my face, this like so. These are the areas where I like to personally highlight. I like to blend this out with a beauty sponge. I've just wet this so that it's nice and damp, and then I use some tissue just to squeeze out all the excess, but I just feel like I have better control when I use this. So yeah, just blending this out. As you can see, blends seamlessly. Again, I'm going to leave recommendations of sponges and brushes which are affordable that you can reach out for. Personally, I prefer to use clean brushes, fresh brushes. So yeah, I just have loads if I'm honest. And then when I finish, just wash them so that it doesn't pile up, because washing brushes is like the longest thing ever. So it's blended out nicely actually. The colour isn't as bright as I thought. Now that's blended out, I can use a lighter concealer. I wasn't too sure of what shade to pick up. I picked up Deep Caramel. Oh, this looks light. Okay, I wish I went a shade darker with this one as well. And it's not to say that I can't work with this, but this is just very bright, you know? A little bit more. So yeah, taking the same sponge, I've just moved it to the other side, and I'm going to blend this out as well. When it comes to base products, make sure you always get a shade that works for you. Don't just reach out for something that works for your favorite content creator. Just because you're dark skin doesn't mean it's a one size fits all for everyone, and not everyone has the same undertone. I'm gonna make sure to blend everything out, and the excess can be just put on the lids. So I personally like to drag that onto my nose, as you can see, like this. Obviously you want to set this, but I'm still using liquid products. So I'm going to use all liquid products, then we can set everything, okay? What I'm using to contour is by Revolution. I've used this before. It's Revolution Conceal and Define, which is actually a full coverage foundation. However, you can get this in concealer form, which is much smaller. So this is in the shade 514. I can't remember the shade that I used when it first came out, but that's what we're going to use today. So apply this here, apply that here. 1, 2, 3. Tip of my nose like this, and then I like to do a line here. Hope you guys can see. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's the placement of my contour. So I'm just using this brush, a soft but angled brush, to blend that in this upward motion like so. Hopefully you guys can see how that is sculpting my face, you know, and I bring that into the jawline. You can always suck in if you want. Then this side, kind of connect it together like this. Then the hairline, then nose, and the bottom of my nose. You can use a smaller angled brush, to be honest, if you feel like you're heavy-handed, but if not, then this should be fine. Then the excess is what I use to basically do this. The last liquid product which I'm going to use before I set everything is blush. The blush which I'm using today is by Elf, which I've just taken out of the box. Then going to add 1 dot of the blush, maybe 2 actually. Blush placement is all down to preference. I like to use a angled brush as well for this. You can apply this with your fingers, to be honest, if you want it, I guess, a bit more sheer. But if not, you can just use the brush as I'm doing. But yeah, the payoff on this is really pigmented. Wow. I take it, I guess, higher up to sculpt my face a bit more. So the excess on my nose. So I'm going to add a bit more concealer to my under eyes. I'm going to use this one. So just add a little bit more, and then going to blend that out. And do you see how the blush looks like it's underneath it and not sitting on top? I don't know if that makes any sense. Same on this side. Now this is all done, it's time to set all these areas. Sometimes I like to use a pressed powder, and sometimes I like to use a loose one. Today we're going to use a pressed powder. This pressed powder is by Collection. Never used this before, but hey, today's going to be the first time. And this is the Set and Finish Makeup Smooth Matte Finish, and it's enriched with vitamin C. And I like to set this with these sponges. These sponges are a game changer. I like to pat off the excess and then use that to set. Oh, this powder is smooth. Oh yeah, this powder's lovely. And then on the lids, I don't like oily lids or no oily brows, So I try to make sure that those areas are set as well. So setting everywhere. Everywhere where that concealer is placed. This side, help define more. This side, help define more. And I'm probably looking white and pasty, but it should all come together nicely. Do not be alarmed. Next thing that I reach out for is a bronzer. The bronzer which I'm going to use today is by MUA. Open it up, this is what it looks like. Okay, and this will add some warmth to the face as well. Yeah, as you can see where I'm applying this. I also like to go under my nose where I went before, and on the forehead, and then excess nose. So next thing which I'm going to set is blush. The blush which I'm using today is by Natural Collection, which looks like this. The same nice pinky colour like that other blush that I used. Okay, so just applying a generous amount to set. Oh, this is pigmented. Next, for those of you that like to highlight, the one I'm using today is by Revlon. This is what it looks like, and this is the Skin Lights. I like to use my finger for the tip of my nose, and I try not to be too heavy-handed, and then the bridge just about that much, and then you use my fingers. You can also use obviously a brush if you prefer, if you feel like you're a bit heavy-handed. You can also add that highlight on the cheekbones. To be honest, it's not something I always do anymore. I skip this step sometimes, and there's other times where I still do it. Okay, today, since we're doing the whole shebang, I thought I'll add the step. The next step, this is a step that a lot of people don't really do. It's a finishing powder, and I think a finishing powder brings warmth and sets everything once again. I wasn't too sure what shade to reach out for, but this was by Makeup Revolution. This is what it looks like, and it's their CC Perfecting Pressed Powders. I put that everywhere. Under eyes, everywhere is getting some of this loving, because it's going to add some warmth to everything, you know, and then it sets it all. But look, if you feel like your under eyes are too bright, you can always count on this to bring it together a bit more, or tone it down, should I say. That's the word I'm looking for, or tone it down a bit more. So yeah, this will help bring it all together. Like, to me, this looks much better. Now, once I feel like my base, I'm happy with everything, the next thing I like to reach out for is a setting spray. The setting spray which I'm going to use today is by Milani Prime, Correct and Set Spray. So it's basically like the one that does everything. So this will be the first time. I'm going to add a generous amount. We are going to leave this to dry, and then we'll move on to the eyes and the lips. Now my base is complete. The next thing I'm going to move on to is the eyes. So this palette is Drugstore as well. This is by Revolution. It's the Maxi Reloaded Big Love palette. I don't know why that makes me giggle, but it does. There's some oranges in here. There's one brown and several pinks. So we're going to make use of the more neutral, natural colours is more my preference. I tend to use my bronzers, finishing powder, and then if I want a bit more oomph or more depth, I add some orange. So today I'm going to use the orange in this palette, and then I'm going to use the bronzers that we used today. Okay, so of course, if you want your eyeshadow to pop a bit more, you can add more concealer. I want it to be more muted, so I'm not going to add any more concealer. Okay, what I'm going to use is the orange in this palette. I'm going to take a fluffy brush. I'm going to tap this on, as you can see, like so, to build the colour, starting off with the orange. And this is really pigmented. Ooh. Orange, this is going to act as the transition colour, and I'm just blending that. And then repeat the same thing on the other side. And then take a little bit on the bottom lash line. Next, I'm going to take my bronzer that I used earlier, and I'm going to use the same brush. Going to place that on top and blend that in. A nice colour using your bronzer in your lids, and doing the same on the bottom lash line. As I said, if you want this to stand out and pop and be bold, you can add concealer as your base and then apply this. So next is the lid colour. I'm going to use the same finishing powder that I used on my face today, and I'm going to apply that as my lid colour. See, it's got that muted kind of look. So like I said, this is like not intense. So simple and so easy to do. That was like 5 minutes, guys. Next is eyeliner. I'm someone that does a winged eyeliner. I'm above my Amy Winehouse winged liner Always have, always will be, and I still use jet black. Today I'm using one by Revolution Pro and the other one is by Revlon. So the Revlon one will be for my water lash line and this one will be for the wing liner. Line that. Hopefully this is gentle. Okay, somewhat. It's not. I've definitely had creamier ones than this did. Yeah guys, that eyeliner was too hard. This will be good for eyebrows. So yeah, nah, I'm not using that for eyes. I have another one by Revolution. Obviously I wanted to have different brands, so I'm gonna use this. Creamy and gentle on the eyes. That's what we need. Now for the wing liner. So this is how I start off by doing my wing liner. I feel like I do it in sections. I'm someone that has or gets watery eyes, so sometimes this can make or break the situation. Now that's done, I'm going to use some mascara. Mascara I'm using today is by L'Oreal. Never used this before. I feel like I'm probably, when it comes to mascaras, I feel most of them perform the same. However, I do have a favourite that I just feel is just the best. But yeah, my favourite mascara is by Too Faced. Better than, you know, I can't say certain words on here about you getting demonetized. One thing I make sure I do is I go heavy on my bottom lash line. Sometimes I do fake lines and there's other times I just use mascara. Today we're just going to use mascara. You want to make sure you get every lash. So once I've applied a generous amount of mascara, next thing I reach out for are lashes. These lashes I believe are from Kiss. Again, I'll link them below, so make sure to check that out. Then for glue, this is also a drugstore glue. This is by Revolution. Personally, I won't recommend. This smells like super glue. I prefer duo glue, that's my favorite. So now I'm going to stick the lashes on. I just need my mirror to do this because yeah, this can get a bit too tricky. Now my lashes are securely stuck on. This is part of my signature and I'll always do this. So using the same highlighter which I use for the bridge of my nose and for my cheek bones, that's what we're going to use in the tear duct area. Guys, I feel like my eyes are about to water. Oh god. So you always want to add some kind of lip balm to your lips, serve as a nice base before doing any lip products. So that's one by Carmex. Carmex is my favorite. I'm going to show you one lip combo which is obviously going to be drugstore product. Okay, so for lip liner, this brown lip liner which I'm using today is by Revolution. I'm someone that goes over my lip line, but yeah, as you can see, this brown is definitely not the brown that I remember. This one has a more of a reddish undertone to it, but yeah, definitely someone that overlines my lips ever so slightly. I have very small lips naturally, and then we plump my lips a lot. Okay, so this is the lip liner. The lipstick which I'm going to use today is by Revolution. Okay, I like the gradient effect. I always reach out for lip liners. So for lip gloss, I'm using this one by Revolution. Okay, this is like a pinky nude. You can obviously leave it like this. If you want a bit more gloss, you can add some gloss. This gloss is also by Revolution. So just going to get a little bit and put that on my finger and dab that on. And voila, we are done. But yeah, this is the finished look. I just thought I'd put myself up for the challenge to do a full face of drugstore. I've not done one of these challenges in ages. If you do like this video, please hit a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of this look. If you like my hair, check out my previous video. But yeah, as always, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Hopefully it's a bit nostalgic. You know, back in the day, these kind of videos which I really enjoyed. So yeah, I just thought it would be helpful, I guess, in this economy to do this kind of video. But yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye guys.